Welcome back, rock stars. If we haven't met before, my name's Samantha and I'm the founder and creator of Love Lab UK and Unbreak My Heart. And if we have met before, it's good to see you again. So today we're going to shake things up a little bit and we're just going to do something a bit different to the normal format. I just want to go through how starting this channel actually helped me heal from my heartbreak. It was very challenging, as you can imagine. I just wanted to share some of those challenges with you, tell you a bit of a story, and hopefully inspire others to live out their dream, really. So give it a go. Give it a good old crack, as the Aussies say. Oh, I've just kicked the camera. Alrighty then, so let's dive in. So today I just want to talk about the challenge of starting my YouTube channel and how that helped with my heartbreak, and just share a little bit of my journey with you, because I think we're all capable of great things and we just really need to believe in ourselves and have that sense of belief. And if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it with all the outside chaos and sadness and absolute turmoil of my life, then anybody can do it. So about 3.5, 4 years ago, I found myself in a really dark place, trying to cope with the aftermath of a painful breakup. I'd been with my partner just over 20 years, 3 children, thought I would be with him for the rest of my life, and as far as breakups go, it was a doozy. It's been a journey, as you can imagine, but I found myself full of emotion and not really quite sure how to get out of it or where to turn, to be honest with you. So after the breakup, I basically just let myself drown in a sea of emotions. Loneliness was bad and despair was constant. It just seemed like no matter what I did, I couldn't shake it. I couldn't get myself out of that dark place, out of that rut. There was days when I just didn't want to get out of bed, and getting out of bed just felt like climbing a mountain, and the thought of seeing friends or family or having to socialise was just too much. The loneliness was very overwhelming, and I found myself scrolling social media, watching my ex's life unfold before my eyes and sort of thinking to myself, wow, what happened there? How did that happen? What the hell is going on? And I think that's the first sort of reaction you have when these things happen and you get blindsided like that. It's trying to come to some sort of acceptance with the situation, and I think you need to do that before you can even progress into any sort of healing or stages of healing. I felt like I'd lost my sense of identity. I think when you get in a couple, you become Jack and Johnny, or Susan and Sean. And when that relationship ends, you just become Susan. And there's nothing wrong with just Susan. It's just an adjustment, a very big adjustment, especially if it's been a long-term relationship and you've invested a couple of decades into it. I just felt like a shadow of myself, and I had this painful realisation that I just couldn't stay stuck in that painful mindset any longer. Something had to give. I had to find a way out of the pain and the suffering. So weeks went on and time kept moving forward, as it tends to do. So I started to realise I needed a distraction. That was my first thing I was going to do, was distract myself from the pain and distance myself from it a little bit and go from there. So I was looking for something that was going to challenge me and distract me. And I'd had enough of being my emotions. I didn't want to be my emotions anymore. I wanted to be more than my emotions, because they were just literally ruling my life. I still had to deal with the emotions and I still had to work my way through it, but I didn't want that to be my sole identity. I didn't want that to be what defined me on a day-to-day basis. And that's really when I started thinking about the whole YouTube channel. I had done a lot of research over the years, 3.5, 4 years ago, like I said, and I went through the usual thought process that I guess everyone goes through, but what could I possibly do it on? What could I share? And more to the point, how could I bring any value to anyone that anyone would want to even bother to watch it? And so I shelved the idea. And I continued with my research. And when I say research, I think I lost count, but hundreds of books. My Audible account has got hundreds of books on there. What different experts had to say about loneliness and heartbreak and getting over a breakup. I did it all. I turned myself inside out, trying to find a way out of the pain and suffering. Meditation, trying to clear my chakras, affirmations, made sure I had a morning routine, made sure I was moving my body, how I could release different chemicals to help me heal. Mantras, how is it? Mantras? I'm not sure. Mantras, well, you get what I mean. Those mantras? You know what I mean. They're like affirmations, but they're a lot stronger and a mantra. Anyway, I did it all. And slowly over the years, and it did take years, I would go through different processes. I'd try things that I'd found, and if I felt like it was helping me feel better, then I would take that on board and it would become part of my day-to-day living. If I thought, well, this is a load of crap, I just pushed it aside. It didn't work for me. And over the period of the 3 years by that stage, I realised I had basically given myself a PhD on getting over heartbreak. So about 14 months ago, it was a normal morning. I was getting up for work, getting my daughter up for school, and she wasn't well. I realised she was running a temperature and she had tonsillitis. She'd had tonsillitis a few times that year, and it was another bout of tonsillitis, unfortunately. And she wasn't going into school, so I'd rung into work. I was sitting on the end of my bed, and out of nowhere, with no warning, this sense of fear and dread and terror, there's no other words of describing, other adjectives that can describe it, just overwhelmed me. It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I became totally immobilized. I was terrified of everything and nothing, and I couldn't find a reason for it, but it was completely immobilizing. To say I was anxious doesn't even describe it very well. Without going into all of that in too much detail, what had happened is going through the breakup and the heartbreak coincided with the loss of my mum. I lost my mum quite suddenly to COVID. And, I had some time off work at the time, but don't you? You keep pushing through with your life. You keep trying to move forward and do the best you can. And what had happened is everything that had happened and everything I'd been working hard to heal from, and I thought I was in a good place. Well, I was, compared to where I'd started, and it just all come crumbling down on top of me. I think it was sparked by the fact that when I got this place where we're living now, I thought it was going to be my fresh start, and I was excited and scared and all those emotions to be starting a new chapter of my life. And what had happened is the landlord had decided he wanted to take the property back, and I felt that sense of uncertainty again, and I think that's what sort of sparked a domino effect. And it was a form of post-traumatic stress, apparently, so the GP tells me now. And that's when I started thinking about the YouTube channel again. I'd always been passionate about storytelling, and I thought, well, why not share my journey with others? If I can help just one person going through a heartbreak or something similar, it's worth it. And all that research I did and all that information I absorbed and wrote down, and all these methods and mindsets and meditations and mantras, and I thought I could really help people that if they are not in a position to do that, or even just to save time. Like I've said before, I use that old phrase, which isn't mine, about success leaving clues. So why not follow in the path of someone that's done it in half the time? So looking back, starting this YouTube channel has been the best decisions I ever made. It hasn't been easy, of course, and there's been times, I mean lots of times, when I've doubted myself, when I felt like giving up. And don't get me wrong, my numbers aren't great, but I just keep going, and being able to create something and share things slowly but surely has really helped me heal. It really has. And I really enjoy doing it and creating these things from scratch and just thinking, oh, maybe somebody will read that and it will help them. It's really empowering, and it incorporates everything I love to do all in one thing. And then to be able to share it with someone, it makes a difference for one person. That's everything. I think one of the biggest unexpected things that come from it was people reaching out back to me, and that sense of community, that sense of something I said resonated with somebody and they were like, I can relate to that, and actually taking the time to reach out to me. And I think one of the surprising things that come out of it is just realising that there's lots of people that are going through the same thing, that I'm not alone. There's a hell of a lot of people out there going through heartache after a breakup. There's a lot of people struggling, and the pain that I was feeling, it's not unique. There's a lot of people out there that understand what I'm going through. There was one message that really comes to mind from a young girl who had said that she'd been following my videos for a couple of weeks, and she shared her story with me, and I just felt so moved that she felt comfortable sharing her story with me. And she said that by watching my videos, she'd found a sense of courage to then talk to her family and friends about what was going on with her. And honestly, in that moment, all the hard work and all the late nights and all the sense of doubting myself and everything that had gone into creating what I'd done for the channel, it just made it all so worthwhile. It really did. I can't even explain to you how that feeling felt, to be able to give someone the strength to move through what they're going through. It was such a privilege, and that's when I knew I was on the right path, and I'm going to keep going. And I just want to say to anybody who's considering it to keep going, because we've all got something we can share with someone else. You may not think that you're an expert, and we don't need to be experts, but if you've got experience, life experience within a situation, a human emotion, how you dealt with something, then there's people out there that need that. And it's been an incredible honour and privilege, even just up to this point, to be able to do that. I set up this channel in what was one of the worst times in my life. I was suffering with severe depression following my breakup. I realised that being on that hamster wheel, you get up, you go to work, you get the kids to school, you work, you get the shopping, you come home, you do dinner, you do washing, you feed the animals, and you get up and do it all again. And while you're on that wheel, you keep all those emotions at bay. And it's not until you actually stop, like I did 14 months ago, and give yourself time to reflect, that it really comes down, it really hits you. You have to reflect on life. You can't just keep going and keep all the emotions at bay. You really need to reflect. And I think journaling's incredible for that, because if I look back on my journals from the beginning, from 4 years ago to where I am now, I can see how far I've come, and I really have, and I'm proud of myself, and it does give me a sense of pride to realise that how far I've come. And I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. I always say I'm a spiritual person, because I do believe in something outside of myself, but I'm just not prepared to put a name to that. But I definitely think it's to do with having a higher purpose, regardless of the name that you want to give to it. And starting this YouTube channel has really given me everything I needed, and the opportunity to be able to share everything I've learnt with other people. As I said, I just feel incredibly privileged. I became unrecognisable to myself during my breakup. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know what my identity was. And I've spent a lot of work rediscovering who I am, what I like to do, what makes me happy. And a lot of that has been since starting my YouTube channel. It's helping me verbalise what I've learned, things that I've been through, things I've recovered from, how I've coped, and being able to share those solutions with other people has really helped me heal. And I am so incredibly grateful to be able to do that. The last 14 months, things have not gone to plan, but I've kept going, and I've kept pushing forward with a sense of faith, and my circumstances have changed and I've had to find somewhere to live. And I'm not trying to play the victim card. What I'm trying to do, what my point is here, so we can actually bloody get to a point, is that if I can do that with all that chaos going on around me, then anyone can do it. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that if you've ever thought or considered doing it, absolutely do it. What have you got to lose? If I can do it, anyone can do it. I was terrified about going on video, and the first video that I put out, which you can still see now, was completely faceless because I didn't want to go on video. I hate the way I looked. I hate the way I sounded. I didn't have all the equipment like everybody else. But honestly, if your reason for wanting to do it and your why is strong enough, and it's bigger than what people think of you, or what you think people think of you, you will do it. You will get through that. Starting this channel has been a real game changer for me. It's given me a sense of purpose, a sense of direction. It's reminded me that even in our darkest times, there's always hope. There's always a way to turn things around. And I just really hope by sharing my story, I can inspire you to do it. If it's something you want to do, just do it. And I just really wanted to have the strength and the bravery to do this video and get it out there. So now it's done. So if you're watching this video and you've been through heartbreak from a breakup, I'd love to hear from you. Whether you want to leave a comment down below or reach out to me directly. If you don't want to leave a comment, reach out, let's talk, connect with me. And if you want to know any more, subscribe to the channel, because everything I do on this channel is authentic and real. It's stuff I've lived through, and it's stuff I've worked through, and it's stuff that works. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it. So don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer alone. So subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk. Let's stay connected. Let's keep this conversation going. There is a way through from heartbreak, and there is a way through from breakup. I just want to let you know that there is a way through the pain, the hurt, the uncertainty, the doubt. Everything, all of it. You can get through it, and you can emerge the other side a new version of yourself, someone you can be proud of, somebody that you worked really hard to be. And there's something about that. And I guess that's about it. I'll sign off, and thanks again, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and sending you light and love. And remember, you are stronger than you think. Bye for now.